Hi everyone, my name is Diana and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So first I wanted to start today's video by apologizing for not posting last week. I actually ended up getting sick on my birthday. So I've been sick for pretty much a week. I had some nasty virus and it knocked me out. I was having a hard time just getting out of bed. It's been a struggle, so I finally yesterday started working again and I'm feeling slowly a little bit better. So I thought it would be a perfect day to come and post my next YouTube video. And for today's video, I want to do a January wrap-up, talk about some of the books I read this month and what I thought about them, what I rated them. So for the month of January, I read 7 books, which I feel like is kind of low for me, but also if you can see these books, I read some thick books, so I feel like it should count as more than 7 books, but it's just 7. But yeah, some of them were really big books. Alright, so the first book I read this year was The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, and I have been loving this series so much. I wasn't sure what to expect going into it because I didn't love the Inheritance Games, which is her other trilogy, and I didn't love it. I didn't connect to the characters as much as I thought I would, and I honestly think that's my fault because going into it, I had something totally different in my mind than how it was going to be, so I think I was just kind of like thrown off by it. And it is YA, so I just felt like it was just a little bit, I don't know, it was just a little different than what I was expecting. But this series, I knew going into it, it was kind of like Criminal Minds, so I kind of had that in my head that it was going to be like a murder happened, something happened, and now they're going to be trying to figure out what's going on. And that is exactly what these books are. So this first book follows Cassie, who is the main girl, and she gets invited to join this naturals program in the FBI, which is basically like gifted younger kids who have like powers, kind of. Like they can either read people really well or like tell emotions, stuff like that. And so she gets invited to join this naturals program and she decides to join them. If you love Criminal Minds and kind of like who did it kind of vibes, this is a series for you. I love all the characters. I've become so attached to them throughout this whole series. I rated this one a 4.25 star. I really liked it. I didn't feel like it was a 4.5 just because like it's young adult, you can only do so much, but also like it did not deserve just to be a 4 because I zoomed through it. I loved it. I was just like, I was really happy, well not happy because it's a murder book, but I was just like, I was really enjoying the whole vibes of this book while reading it. Alright, the next book this year that I read was Powerless by Lauren Roberts. This book, you guys. Oh my gosh, this book was such a big surprise for me. I knew there was hype around it, so I didn't really have too high of expectations going into it because usually books with a lot of hype just don't end up being my all-time favorite, but this book deserves all the hype it gets. So if you don't know, I'm going to read you the back of the book because that's what convinced me to read this book. Only the extraordinary belong in the kingdom of Ilia. The elites have possessed powers for decades gifted to them by the plague, while those born ordinary are just that, banished from the kingdom of Ilia and shunned from society. No one knows this better than Peyton Gray, an ordinary posing as a psychic to blend in with elites. When she's unsuspectingly saves one of Ilia's princes, Kai Azar, she's thrown into the purging trials, a brutal competition showcasing the elite's power. If the trials and the opponents within them don't kill her, the prince she's fighting feelings for will if he discovers what Peyton is, completely ordinary. So good. Also, Kai, his character, oh my god. These tabs are just all stuff that he was saying that I was like, oh my god. There's no spice in here, but the tension between the main character and Kai is insane. And the stuff that he says, he calls her darling, and I'm like, so good. It is so good. I loved every second of this book. It is, I think, around 500 pages. Hold on. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's 500 pages. So it doesn't look like that big, but it's a thick book, and the writing is pretty small on the pages. But it has such pretty like chapter art, and I loved it. I rated it 5-star. I cannot wait for the next book. I have to wait all the way to July, which I'm not excited for, but yeah, this book was amazing. Even if you're new to fantasy, I would totally recommend Powerless. Next book that I finished this year, Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J. Maas. This series, I cannot believe I finished it. I never ever wanted it to end. Will I be restarting it as soon as I finish Crescent City? 110%. I'm gonna restart them. I'm gonna annotate them all because you guys know I talk about it every video. This series literally changed my life. This book, 1,000 million trillion stars, literally. This book was so amazing. I give it all the stars. It's my favorite book of the series. The last 4 were all really close for me, but this one was just so amazing. So much stuff came together in this book. We found out so much stuff in it. The ending, the last like 200 pages were like non-stop. I was getting whiplash because so much stuff was happening. It was so amazing. I don't want to say too much about it because obviously it's the last book of the series. I'll just spoil stuff. But it was such an amazing book, and I think about this literally every day. So good, such an amazing series. If you're gonna read any series, read Throne of Glass. They are the most amazing books ever. Sarah's writing in them is so magical, so beautiful, and I love this book. I love all the characters. It's 1,000 pages pretty much, and I would have read a 2,000-page book if that's what it was, because I never wanted it to end. But the ending was so beautiful. Everything I wanted to happen happened, and it was perfection. Alright, book number 4 I read this year was The Perfect Mistake by Olivia Haley. This is the second book of the series. The first one is called Best Enemies Forever. So they're billionaire romances. This one is age gap. There's I want to say like a 15-year age gap. Yeah, 15 years. I have not read a lot of age gaps, so this was a lot for me because it would be like me dating a 40-year-old pretty much, and I was like, that's all I kept thinking about while I was reading this, and it was hard for me to get into the two of them having chemistry because of how much of a difference there was in age. I just felt like it was a little bit too much of an age gap for me. I know other people love age gaps, but for me it was a little bit much. I think it's because I was putting myself in the main girl's perspective, but pretty much the main girl, Isabel, she was a professional dancer and she got injured, and they told her that she couldn't dance anymore, and she was heartbroken. She had nowhere to live, so her best friend's brother, who is Alec. Oh my god, I didn't read this book that long ago. But so Alec decides to offer her his a nannying position at his house because he has a little girl and son. He has 2 kids, and he offers her the nanny position, and it's like a live-in position, and yeah, the tension's building and it gets crazy. And I really liked the story besides the age gap. So I would rate this one like a 3-star probably, just because I was having a hard time connecting to it just because of the age gap. But it was a really good story if you like age gap, if you like billionaire romance, best friend's brother, she's the nanny. It was really good. Just the age gap was a little bit too much for me. The next book that I finished this year was Killer Instinct by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is the second book in the Naturals series. I really enjoyed this one. This one takes place more on like a college campus. There's a murder that happens at a college campus, and then like stuff keeps happening, bodies keep being found, and that's kind of where this one takes place, which I was happy because I was like curious to see if all the books were gonna take place in like the Naturals office, like where they look at like cold cases and stuff like that. I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna like it if all 4 books just take place there, but that this one was like at a college campus. It was different. I really enjoyed it. We learned more about Dean in this book, who is a character that I really like, and I wanted to know more about him. So when I found out this book was more about him, I was really excited. I'm loving this series. This was a 4-star. Next book, I finally read Crescent City by Sarah J. Maas. Look at those annotations. I literally cannot stop staring at them. I'm always like this. It's so satisfying. I am currently reading the second one and annotating it. Alright, so this book was very different than her other books to me, and I think the first like 500 pages just really caught me off guard because I was like, whoa, it's just so different than like Throne of Glass and ACOTAR. Like, there's cell phones, there's a lot more swearing. Like, it's definitely like, I guess, like her crudest, if you will, series. So I think I was just a little bit thrown off by that. But once I kind of got used to like the characters, I got more attached to them. Once I got more attached to like the storyline, I really enjoyed it. The ending made me bawl my eyes out, which I wasn't really expecting because I didn't feel like I was connecting with the characters as much as I was in like her other series, but I was bawling my eyes out, so obviously I was connecting a little bit. Honestly, the ending, like not even the ending, like I would say the last like 300 pages is really what redeemed this book for me. I ended up giving it a 4.5 star because the ending was just amazing. I felt myself connecting to the characters, looking forward to the next book, but the first like 70% I was struggling to get into it. I just felt like so much of the stuff was unnecessary. There's so much stuff that I was trying to remember, and I even feel like that a little bit reading the second book. I'm about like 40% through, and it's just a lot to remember. Like, I find myself looking up chapter summaries because I'm like, who is this person? Like, are they important? It's a lot. Compared to our other series, I feel like the characters are introduced pretty fast. I still really enjoyed it. I'm excited to read the third book. I picked up my copy yesterday. Just, if you're reading it, you gotta kind of push through the beginning a little bit. It's gonna be a lot, it's gonna feel slow, but the ending makes it so worth it, in my opinion. The last book I read this month, which I just finished yesterday, was All In by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I love this series. As I keep reading the books, I keep loving the characters more and more. I get so attached to them. And this one takes place in Vegas, which I thought was so fun. I could like picture the setting so good, and I really enjoyed this one. I rated this one a 4.25. I enjoyed every second of this one. The twists were crazy, and this one, you learn a little bit more about Salome, which I was really excited about because I love her character. She's such a sweetheart, and I needed more from Salome, and we got it in this book. We find out some background about her, and I just want to give her the biggest hug after reading this book because this book was a lot. Like, I kept thinking that I knew what was going on, and I had no idea. And the ending of this book, what? Literally, me and Arthur, my boyfriend, we were listening it together and we were like, what the heck just happened? So I cannot wait to read the last book of the series this month. I don't know how it's gonna end. Especially how this one ended. I'm like, what the heck is gonna happen now? There's so much stuff that needs to happen in the next book, and I'm just not ready for it. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, this series super good if you just want like a quick listen or a quick read. Totally recommend this series. All right, you guys, that is all the books I read the first month of the year. Oh god, I'm struggling. This is all of them. I read 3 books in the Natural series: Powerless, Kingdom of Ash, the last book in Throne of Glass, The Perfect Mistake, and the first Crescent City book. And honestly, I had a great reading month. Like, I enjoyed every book I read. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Again, I'm so sorry I didn't post last week. I was sick and I really just wanted to post. I was really sad about that. I'm going to be traveling next week, so I was thinking about making some fun like travel vlogs while reading and stuff like that because I'm going to be on the road a lot. So if you guys have any book recommendations for me to listen to while I'm in the car, like some really good audiobooks you guys know of, please leave them in the comments below because I need all the recs because I'm going to be in the car for like 20 hours next week. So any books you have, please recommend them to me because I'm gonna need a lot of books to listen to. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked today's video, you could like and subscribe to my channel. It means so much to me to gain new subscribers and meet new book-loving people. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching and I hope you have a great rest of your week. Bye!